What up, guys? It's Sunday. Hi guys. Hi guys, how's it going? Hi guys, it's Dan here from Crying Noir. How's it going? Haha! Start again. What a fuck up. Hi guys, it's Dan here from Crying Noir. How are you all doing today? It's Sunday, so it's DevLog day. It's been a good week. It's been a very, very good week. It's been a very busy week. What with work and all the stuff I've done on this, I've effectively put in about a 70-hour week this week. You know, I've been pretty busy. Last week I had done all of the basic movement for it, and I managed to get the shooting working, and you could, if needs be, just sort of kill some basic enemies that didn't move. I intended this week to try and get them moving and to also work on a switch. Now, that's not happened. I've spent an awful lot of time doing a tile sheet. I was sick of looking at the game as it was, with just basic squares and no real colour or anything like that. And I wanted to get more of a feel for it so that it looks slightly better. I've now got a test tile sheet sort of finished. It's not a finished tile sheet because all it is literally just the walls and some of the floor patterns and some other bits like that, and now I've got that into the game, so it's starting to look a little bit better. Obviously this is just a basic sort of shell, as it were. There's no set dressing in here, so there's things like, you know, sort of pipes and vents and just general detritus that still needs adding, plus some dead bodies and such like that. So there's all that lot to do, but that will come with time. This was more about just getting a basic tile sheet in place and just making sure that it all worked and tiled together nicely. And I'm pleased to say that it did. It did all go together. It's all perfectly fine. I have found a few issues with it, which I find they're going to be fairly easy to fix as well. So that's good. And this is all part of the learning thing, because I've never done a tile sheet before. I've imported tile sheets, but I've never actually made one myself. And this one seemed to go pretty well. So I managed to do all that lot and get it in. Now you'll notice it still looks pretty flat at the moment. That's because there's no shadows on it whatsoever. There's no shadow work done at all. And that always makes things kind of look a little bit better. The reason why there's no shadows on there, and the reason why it's so light in tone, is because I'm going to try and get GameMaker to do all of the shadows in engine. GameMaker does have a facility in there for doing dynamic shadows, and for, you know, sort of, well, they're not really, they're sort of approximated. Kind of, it works out kind of what a solid object is, and you create a light bee, and it theoretically tracks it. It should theoretically look quite good. I've seen an awful lot of people that have done them, and I've seen them on YouTube, and they look really, really cool. Part of that is obviously you're darkening the whole area, so that bits are in shadow and bits aren't. So for that I needed to create, you know, I needed the tile set to be quite light, and also it needs to be completely flat. You can't have any shadows in there, because otherwise you'll be duplicating them when it all works. So I'm hoping that should look quite good, but that will come later. But right for now, it's looking okay as a base. Now I also wanted to do a switch. And I've never done a switch before. And this is all linked up with the airlock, which is at the end of the game. I don't know why I'm doing that. It's not as though it's going to be there. It might be here. I don't know. But I also wanted to do a switch, which would then link up with the airlock at the end. The idea being that you walk into the airlock, that triggers a switch, and then the door closes behind you. Two key things about that. I needed a door, basically. I needed the airlock door. So I spent, in total, 3 hours designing the actual airlock door and getting that animated properly. It was actually probably about 4 or 5 hours all in total. I showed my mate Rob this, and he was very complimentary. He said, "Why the hell did you spend 4 or 5 hours on that? Surely you could have just drawn it, and GameMaker should have been able to do it quickly." Yes, Rob, yes, he could have done that. He's right, he's entirely right. What I could have done is drawn a static image, and then when it moved, you would just then put the movement in, so it would just move like that. But I didn't really want that, because then it just looked like just a plane that was moving. You'll see that it's actually animated, so that like each of the kind of the 4 pistons push a section out, it then stops, that then stops, and then a piston, another one takes over, and that goes. So it's all animated. I think that looks an awful lot better, but it's an awful lot more work. And I think this is like kind of a crucial thing with kind of pixel art work. You can end up putting a lot of time into stuff. That probably makes that section, all in all, it probably makes that little bit maybe 1% better than if I'd have just done that. And it makes the game feel 1% better. Now if you do that and apply all these little 1%, like the fact that it's got dynamic lighting makes it look like, so well, it should make it look a lot better, but just all these little things like having an animation for your character picking something up, that might take you an hour or two to do, but just that having those two or three frames of animation of your guy going down and picking it up, and you know, rather than just walking over and it disappears, all these little kind of touches make it all feel a little bit better, and as it goes on they should all hopefully add up to make one big whole of awesome. So all in all, for the frames of animation of that coming across, that's a total of 60 frames that I've done there, so that's why it took me quite a while. So it should theoretically run through its frames once and then finish. I got that imported into the game and then had an absolute fucking nightmare trying to get it to work. Basically, the problem I was having loads of different problems. I came up with the idea of having a big floor plate in the airlock. When you stepped onto it, it would do a collision, and that collision event would then trigger the doors. Okay, so what was happening was, first time when I imported them, the doors just kept opening and closing continuously. They would just cycle through the animation. So I managed to get that to stop. I then got the floor plan, the trigger in, and then it got to basically you would walk in and you would just collide with it and then would stop. You wouldn't be able to walk onto it, and the doors were only opening halfway, and then when you stepped away they would open again, so that was fucking bullshit, that wouldn't work. So then I tried fucking around with it some more, and I got to the stage where you could then walk in and the doors would then close behind you, but they would close and then would then just open again. It would just keep cycling the animation. So, and it's always just trying to sort out all the loops of the way the game maker runs the code. It was basically what it was doing is, on one part of the code I'd set, when it was created, I'd set its initial image index to 0, which is the first image, so it would just stay at that image. And then I'd created code so that it would then increase the image index, you know, when the floor plan was triggered, which is effectively it running through its animation. I then got that to slow down, so it was then running at the correct speed that I wanted it. But then it was then kind of, I also put a piece of code in there that said if it had got to frame 60, then, and this is how finicky it is, I'd set it so that if it got to if the frame number equaled 59, or if the frame number was equal to 59, which is the last frame, set the image speed to 0. That I thought should work perfectly fine. So the idea is that it should set it to 0, but because it was already doing that somewhere else and the code was then overriding it, there was nothing to say that, you know, that's the end. It was just like, oh, set it to 0. Oh, there's a collision, start running it again. Frame number's got to 59, stop. Oh, we have a collision, and there we. So I had to do a lot of fucking around with that, and I managed to get, and that was basically as simple as replacing one of the equals with a greater than sign, and that was it, and that fixed it. So now, as you can see, it works perfectly fine. And then I've also added collision with it. You can't shoot through it, you can't walk through it. And that's that little function done. It's taken me a little while to do, but that's that entire piece done. So now that works perfectly fine. The only issue I have, and I don't really know how to fix this. When you go in, obviously that triggers it, and it will close. Now, when it closes, if you're still in the airlock, then that's fine, that's the end of the game, and you'll move on. But there's nothing to stop the player currently from going in, triggering that, and then coming back out again, and the airlock will close. And then it's like, well, you haven't made it out of the room, if you know what I mean. You haven't made it out of that area. I have two ways of fixing that. I can either do it so that when you go in, it creates another kind of, and I won't say solid objects, because if you create solid objects now, that'll stop enemies coming through. I want enemies to be able to continually go through the airlock as it's closing. That's one of the key aspects of it. So I either create something so that when you go in, it creates a barrier for the player so that the player then can't exit. And I'm like, okay, that works, that could work quite well. But then there's part of me that thinks, oh yeah, no, but if loads of enemies come in and you're running around the airlock to try and escape, or, you know, to try and survive, and something happens, like there's an explosion, or you get, you know, hit, or get some knockback. If you then get knocked back to what is still part of the open airlock, and then you hit an invisible wall, that might look a little bit janky, shall we say, which I'm not too keen on. So what I'm thinking about doing is on the outside having an airlock reset switch, so that way, and I might put it a bit of a way away, oh no, I can't do it, I don't know, you know, if it's closed, and you're on the wrong side of it when it's fully closed, you can then flick a reset switch and it will open up again slowly and you can go. But anyway, I don't know how much of a problem that will be for reasons. But anyway, so it's all gone really well. I now have, you know, I now have a movement, I now have a shooting, I now have an enemy, I now have an tile, and I now have an airlock with closing doors and an mechanic to go with it. So all in all, it's good. This is good. This is all right. I'm in a really good place for the end of week 3. I'm really happy with that. I don't doubt a lot of people could have done everything I've done in a week and it would look 10 times better and the code would not be half as fucking botched and fucking chunky as my code is. And I'm sure that's the case, but that's not the point. The point is that I've done this and I've done it all myself. So it's mine, I've done it, and I'm happy with how it's going, and that at the end of the day is all we can really care about. No, I'm really happy with how it's gone this week, these past 3 weeks. This is a good stopping off point. Because if you watched my channel update the other week, you'll know that I'm running this channel on a 4-week cycle. So weeks 1, 2 and 3 will be general jibber jabber videos and devlogs, and then week 4 is purely dedicated to doing a video, a proper good quality video. I've already started writing the script for that, here, there and when I've had little bits of spare time, and I've also already started doing some of the research on it as well, which is good. I now need to get some more video footage together and some other bits. Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to that. It's going to be really good. I'm hoping this video is going to be awesome. It should be. Yes, no hoping. It will definitely be awesome. It'll be fucking amazing. It'll blow your socks off. You'll be, wow, oh my good god, this is the best video ever. In flying cat hair. So that's it for the end of my first 3 weeks devlog. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the series so far. Don't forget to rate, comment and subscribe, share around. Let's get a buzz. Let's get a buzz going. This game's going to be amazing. So yeah, don't forget to rate, comment and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. I won't see you on Wednesday for a jibber jabber video. I will see you next Sunday for my big ass awesome video. And yes, I'm really looking forward to that, and so should you be, because it's going to be wicked. So I will see you all next Sunday. Thank you very much. Goodbye guys. See you later.